What's going on, everybody? Don't look me up here, and today we are going to play Kyle is Famous. Um, so this was a game on Steam that looks kind of funny because I do have a friend named Kyle, and I was like, I'm gonna play. I was like, I'm gonna play this, and Kyle, I love you, bro. This is gonna be funny. From I don't even know what it is, but I'm gonna butcher the name. The creator, John Zamansky. I don't know. I'm butchering names. I'm terrible, but we are gonna play this because I was like, I'm gonna try, something different, and this is kind of like a bonus video for the holidays. So Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays to all those who don't celebrate Christmas. But we are diving right in. Let's begin. I was like, forgot where I was going to go, but let's begin. Kyle wakes up. He is famous. What a way to wake up. Like, I want to wake up like that. Just wake up one morning. Damn it, Kyle. Kyle is the host of the most pop. If I were to be a narrator, I'm done. Like, I've ruined it right there. Even if I were to be like one of those Kyle is the host of the most popular talk show in recent memory. Stay up late with Kyle. Like, I already stammered into that one, so that botched it right there too. Stay Up Late with Kyle has grown in popularity quickly in the last year, and the public has noticed. Damn, Kyle, you've been busy. Inside has called Kyle a most excellent dumpy white man. This is... What the hell? Top Tech noted that Kyle is inspiring youth to explore STEM fields. Most other talk shows are dedicated to discussing Kyle and his personal details. Most online videos are best of clips taken from Kyle's latest broadcast. The eye of the world is upon Kyle. Tonight is Kyle's most important guest interview yet. Stay Up Late with Kyle will be featuring Rachel May. Well played, well played. She is a kind and lovely philanthropist. She is dear to the hearts of many. This interview requires preparation. Kyle cracked his eyes open, knowing today is his last chance to prepare for the interview. Kyle has 30 hours left. He must choose his actions wisely. Oh! Let's begin preparing. So, Kyle's first decision of the morning was made wisely. Wither away or exit the bed. The nerves could get to you and you could just wither away, but let's get out of bed. So he exited his bed and took a quick glance around his room. He could exit the bedroom to the hallway, open up the closet. What's inside the closet? Some skeletons, maybe? Kyle opened the closet. It was dark and he could only really see his hanging shirts. Oh, let's pick out an outfit for you. So, Kyle decided to take some time to choose the perfect outfit, knowing how important appearance is. So we're going to go with skunk pasties, a slick suit of armor, jeans and swimming goggles. You know what? This is a very big, powerful interview. 3 hours. Hold up. 3 hours had gone by, and all he did was get out of bed and open a closet. Suit of armor. And an hour. Okay. I get it. It's not a very simple task to put on a suit of armor. I've never done it myself, but I can imagine. Kyle was unsure of what exactly caused him to decide to wear his armor, but it felt like the right thing to do. After much squeezing and sweating, Kyle managed to wrap the metal suit around his dumpy self. What the fuck? Kyle returned to the center of the bedroom. He's going to be sitting at his desk. Kyle made his way over to his desk and sat down. Write notes for an interview. Check in-desk drawer. What's inside the drawer? Kyle opened the side drawer on his desk and grabbed one of the items, a small key. He grabbed the small key he kept in his desk and wrote down his first question. Are you a mother? Am I a mother? Is your mother a mother? Is your mother a mother? That's ambush question right there. Is your mother a mother? Are you a mother? Kyle wrote down his second question. What are some diet tips? Beef, mashed, or blended? Ever eaten a raw egg whole? That's a very good question. We're going to go with beef, mashed, or blended. And Kyle wrote down his third question. Do you ever smile? I purposely ran over a puppy. That's rude. No. What's your funniest story? And Kyle wrote down his last question. Do you feel guilty? Are you guilty? Or what's your guilty pleasure? What's guilty pleasure? Kyle ripped his page of notes out of the notebook, got up from the desk. He will scavenge. Kyle quickly crouched on the floor, realizing his immediate need for gossip. Kyle firmly pressed his ear into the carpet, hoping to hear some stray words from the neighbors below. I heard Rachel May is going on a trip out of the country soon. Oh, girlfriend, tell me more. That was terrible. It takes an hour for all of this to go on. Good God, you are taking forever. What I will tell you is that every night I don a mask that looks like a bug and fight misdoers. There was a stunned silence. Then a door opened and someone exited the neighbor's apartment. That's quite enough. Let's go to the hallway. Let's move to the kitchen. Oh, there's 6 hours. Okay. Walk to the hallway, connects the rooms of his apartment together. Let's head out. Kyle walked out the middle of the road and took a long, pondering look around him. Let's go visit the tech store. Kyle walked into the clean, white tech store. He was greeted by Techno Jim, an elaborate cutout mascot with flashing lights. What free samples do you have? Kyle asked the store attendant whether or not they offered any free samples to important customers. The attendant gave Kyle a confused and vacant look. Kyle began to beg for a free sample. Wanting Kyle to leave, the attendant grabbed a decrepit phone meant for spare parts and held it out. Let's grab with teeth. Let's grab with the hands, make it less awkward. Kyle took the phone placently from the outstretched hand and said quietly, "Thanks for your service." Kyle hurried to the set. Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity. Yep. I'm remembering big words. It's showtime. As Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. Approach Rachel. Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking him in the eyes. I've been looking forward to being here. Kyle responded, scream and spin in circles. We shall answer politely for this one. And I as well, Rachel, answered Kyle, extending his hand in greeting. You are a most welcome guest. Shake hands. After other mild exchange of pleasantries, Kyle and Rachel were prompted to take their places for the broadcast. Oh boy. Pressure's on now. A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on. Let's start a broadcast. Good evening, everyone, said Kyle, looking at the camera. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Kyle. Tonight, I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. Kyle motioned to Rachel, who smiled and waved at the camera. Hello, Kyle, she said. I'm glad to be here. In response, Kyle collapsed on the floor. From a combination of stressful preparation and not eating anything, Kyle had passed out. Nobody in the Oh my god. Nobody in the studio quite knew what to do with him, so they began to poke Kyle in the back to see if he moved. After a while, they ended the broadcast, shut off the lights, and went home. Kyle was left face first on the floor. And ending unlocked. Kyle prepared by starving himself. Oh god, this is messed up. Okay, he made his first decision. Browse social media. He started to scroll through news articles on his phone. Stay Up Late with Kyle ranked number 1 and number 2 show on television. New East Bridge being constructed after being found to not actually exist. Authorities investigating. Alright, out of bed we go. We are going to open the closet, and we're going to choose an outfit. We're giving him a slick suit. He miraculously crammed his dumpy body into the suit. Chest pockets were filled with random knickknacks. And we're going to go to the hallway and into the kitchen. Going to open up the fridge, and we're going to eat crust on fridge wall. Okay, what happened here? Eat the fridge. Oh god, this game is really funny. We're gonna eat the fridge. Kyle pointed his neck directly upwards and hoisted the fridge on top of his face. Somehow miraculously he wrapped his mouth around the device. He started to swallow. What is this game? What is this game? I don't understand how this is. That made a very awkward sound, but in one slow, horrible movement, the fridge slid down his throat. After many gurgles, pops, and snaps, Kyle felt relatively sure the fridge would not come back out. He walked to the center of the kitchen. We're going to leave the apartment. We're going to visit the downstairs neighbor. I'm like jumping ahead. Holy crap. Sorry about that. A middle-aged woman named Gabby answered the door. She looked at Kyle expectantly. Good morning, neighbor, said Kyle cheerfully. Gabby looked at Kyle expectantly. Let's ask about Rachel. Gabby, Kyle asked, what are your thoughts about Rachel May? Oh, Rachel, Gabby said. She's a wonderful woman. Her generous acts have inspired more good work than bad. Gabby trailed off, not meeting Kyle's eyes. After several uncomfortable minutes of silence, Kyle turned around and left. So he walked out into the middle of the road, took a long, pondering look, visit the tech store, gave a review of free sample. This phone, said Kyle, is several years old and has exposed wires coming out the back. Kyle continued, the phone also has had screen issues after I used it to hammer nails into the wall for a painting. Furthermore, when I submerge it in water, I get severely shocked until it runs out of battery. Kyle hurried to the set. Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity. As Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking him in the eyes. I've been looking forward to being here. Kyle responded, and I as well, Rachel, answered Kyle, extending his hand in greeting. You are a most welcome guest. After other mild exchange of pleasantries, Kyle and Rachel were prompted to take their places for the broadcast. A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on. Good evening, everyone, said Kyle, looking at the camera. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Kyle. Kyle vomited all of the horrible things he had eaten earlier onto the floor. Rachel looked at Kyle concerned, gave a couple of coughs, and decided to play it cool and keep the show running. Kyle stopped, then vomited again, then continued with a shaky voice. Tonight, I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. Kyle motioned to Rachel, who smiled and waved at the camera. Hello, Kyle, she said. I'm glad to be here. Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss, so we might as well dive right in, said Kyle. I'm very ready, said Rachel with a winning smile. In a shock, Kyle realized he had never bothered to prepare any notes for the interview. Knowing he had the eyes of millions upon him, he came up with a solution quickly. Play dead. Kyle slumped in his seat and played dead. Kyle, what are you up to? Asked Rachel, still smiling. Kyle did not respond and hoped nobody would ask questions. Kyle, why are you pretending to be dead? Asked Rachel. I can see you breathing. Kyle held his breath. The producer whispered to Rachel over her earpiece, give him a couple slaps across the face, see if he wakes up. Rachel got up from her chair, walked to Kyle, and slapped him firmly across the face. Rachel slapped Kyle continuously, trying to get him to stop play acting. Other members of the crew stepped into frame and started slapping Kyle as well. Soon, Kyle was lost in the amazement of people around him, or the amassment of people around him, all slapping his face with both hands. The slapping went on for many hours. Kyle did not wake up. Eventually, Kyle did not need to pretend to be unconscious. Kyle prepared by dying. Oh, God. Okay, so this time, I am going to do this in a better fashion. I'm gonna see if I can get this, like, I'm gonna like perfect the ending, make it good. So we're going to browse social media, and then we're gonna get out of bed. We are then going to open the closet. We're gonna choose the slick suit. He miraculously crammed his dumpy body into the suit. Chest pockets were filled with random knickknacks. And then we are going to sit at the desk and write notes for interview. Are you a mother? Beef, mashed, or blended? What's your funniest story? What's your guilty pleasure? Check in desk drawer. Take the small key. We're going to go back to the room. We're going to scavenge. We're going to hear gossip. Kyle firmly pressed his ear into the carpet, hoping to hear some stray words from the neighbors below. I heard Rachel May is going on a trip out of the country soon. Oh, girlfriend, tell me more. Well, what I will tell you is that every night I don a mask that looks like a bug and fight misdoers. There was a stunned silence, and then a door opened and someone exited the neighbor's apartment. We're going to the hallway and to the kitchen. Open the fridge, prepare breakfast, eat breakfast. I don't know what he ate, but it was very crunchy. Maybe some raw eggs, whole. And to the hallway. Kyle hurried to the set. Sitting across his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity. As Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking him in the eyes. I've been looking forward to being here. Kyle responded, and I as well, Rachel, answered Kyle, extending his hand in greeting. You are a most welcome guest. After other mild exchange of pleasantries, Kyle and Rachel were prompted to take their places for the broadcast. A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on. Good evening, everyone, said Kyle, looking at the camera. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Kyle. Tonight, I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. Kyle motioned to Rachel, who smiled and waved at the camera. Hello, Kyle, she said. I'm glad to be here. Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss, so we might as well dive right in, said Kyle. I'm very ready, said Rachel with a winning smile. Kyle produced the notes he had taken earlier. Are you a mother? Rachel, I and many others would love to know. Are you a mother? Kyle looked up from his notes. Well, being a single woman with a career, she answered, that's not something that has crossed my mind. Rachel smiled genuinely at Kyle. Very reasonable indeed, said Kyle. He referenced his paper of questions. He asked another question. What's your guilty pleasure? We all have one. What's your guilty pleasure? Ooh, well, that's an easy answer, said Rachel. Dipping pickles in chocolate sauce. Huh? What? Pickles in chocolate. Okay. It might sound strange, but it's tangy and sweet at the same time. I eat it far too often, Rachel smiled sweetly. Kyle asked another question. What's your funniest story? You've been involved in a lot of different things, said Kyle, but what's your funniest story? Well, that's a great question, Kyle, said Rachel. I think the story I always remember is the first time I tried to make dinner for my family. In the soup I made, I swapped out the water with milk and tipped the whole jar of salt in the pot. While my family was sick from trying to eat it, I swiped their things and locked myself in my room. Rachel laughed elegantly. Kyle decided to move on. And another question, beef, mashed or blended? A burning question from the fans, said Kyle. Beef. Do you prefer it mashed or blended? Rachel answered quickly and honestly. Mashed. And no more was said on that matter. After reading his final question, Kyle looked up from his paper. Well, Rachel, he said, I think that's all I was planning on asking you. If that's the case, Kyle, may I ask you something in return? Asked Rachel, smiling one more time. Do you prepare for your interviews in advance? Because you seem very together. Before Kyle could answer, the camera shut down. The broadcast was over. Kyle returned home knowing the interview had gone well. But as he lay in bed and drifted to sleep, he felt that perhaps something was still missing. He prepared very well. Nailed it. I did it. I did a very well interview. Good job. And good job, Kyle, for doing all of the things. All right. So I'm going to end everything there for now. And Kyle is Santa. That's awesome. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys next time. Enjoy your holidays. And I will see you guys next time. With that being said, Donut out.